What is going on this loom that I got for you guys? This is a thing that I created for my clients, and I want to help you learn how to get better results by training properly, right? A lot of people just go to the gym, lift some weights, get on the cardio machines, and they're just spinning their wheels for months on end because they don't know what to really do in the gym, all right? So with that, a warm-up is always advised before a workout, and it should be based off of kind of like what you're working on. All right. So if you're doing upper body, do some upper body prep, do some upper body mobility. Foam rolling is a great way to wake things up and start to feel a little stretch too. But a warm up is not to be missed. You need to do some level of warm up. It can be as short as 5 minutes. Doesn't really need to be that long. All right. Then once we get into the actual workouts, there's your working sets versus your warm-up sets. And a lot of people will do 3 sets of 12, and that first set is lighter weight and less intense, and they still count it. And that is not the right way to go, all right? So that first set should likely be a warm-up, and depending on what you're doing, you might take 1 to 3 warm-up sets. Or if you're a power lifter lifting some really heavy stuff, you might take 4 or 5 different warm-ups before you get your top sets. So this definitely depends on the skill level, the weight being lifted, and how the body is feeling that day. Maybe you need a little extra warm-up. Maybe you're already feeling good from the warm-up that you did up here, but these warm-up sets should be used to get you ready to hit your working sets. All right. Typically, auxiliary movements or smaller muscle groups don't need as many warm-ups because you're warmer from the bigger movements in the workout themselves. All right. So 0 or 1. Like if you're going from a heavy bench into a shoulder press, like you really probably don't need to warm up to do 2 or 3 sets. 1 might be good. All right. Now, pain is not something that I deal with in my workouts at all. If it is literally causing you pain, stop. If you're tired, if you're feeling the burn of the exercise, if you're working, that's okay. But if it's going to hurt you in 2 minutes, 2 days, or 2 years from now, it is not worth pushing through, right? So those are the primary starters to training, right? Getting your warm-up done. Then we get into how to actually lift. There's multiple ways to look at it, and I like to go off of RPE and RAR because this allows you to self-regulate. Some days you're going to feel great, some days you're not. So RPE is rate of perceived exertion. So how am I feeling during this movement, right? Typically, you should be training from the 7 to 10 range, but not hitting those 10s too often. All right, so this is max effort. Like if somebody put a gun to your head and said, keep going, you could not if you hit a 10 out of 10. All right. RAR is similar to RPE, but it's reps in reserve. So now we're just willy-nilly on the rep scheme. It's based off of how many you can actually get. So how many reps do you have left in the tank? And typically this will go from 5 to 0. So 0 being failure, you don't have another rep to do, or you actually fail. If you do a 3 reps in reserve, that means you could do 13 if you stop at 10. But most people could probably do 20 when they stop at 10, and that's why they're getting stuck in the gym, right? So the RAA should maintain the same weight for all working sets, unless your first one, you do like 25 reps. It's time to go up in weight and get a little bit heavier and stronger with your weights, right? So if you're not hitting somewhat close to a 8 to 15 rep range with your reps in reserve, you probably should go up in weight. 20s are okay, but it's a grinder. All right. Myo reps are another great way to add extra stimulus to the muscle. So this is taking your first top set, and if you max out and you do 20, now every subsequent set, you need to hit 20 again. Or you can decide to do 20, and even on your first set, if you fail hitting 20 all the way through, you take a short rest, then you hit a few more reps. So this could be like if you were to do a 20, you do 12, short rest, 5, short rest, 3, there's your 20. Then you take a longer rest, and then you go again for another set of 20. Like this here, you do 10, you do 4, you do 4, you do 2, okay? Another way to train is multiple rep sets. So it doesn't always have to be the exact same rep range, similar to RAR. So sometimes I'll want people to go into that higher rep range, cause some fatigue, try to get to that 15, try to get to that 10. So there's variations in there. And then even then you could do drop sets. This is a way to just add extra stimulus into that muscle to cause it to get stronger, to get it to grow. There's multiple things that you could do. All right. But most importantly, out of all of these things, rest is important. We are not strength training in the gym to do cardio. You should be taking a minimum of 45 seconds on your auxiliary movements, and your big movements will be 2 to 3 minutes of rest, right? When you're supersetting, you could do 45 to 60 seconds and then rest longer after your second movement. But rest is key because we are working on intensity, which you should have learned from this segment right here. All right. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you can apply that into your workouts to get more results. And if you actually want this sheet, go ahead and check out down below. And I can drop it to you. Just shoot me a DM too. All right. See you guys on the other side. Make it a great day.